F-I-F-T-Y-C-E-N-T and S-N-O-O-B.
Yeah.
Internationally known.
Can't forget. Drum Magic One.
You done heard about me.
Woo!
F-I-F-T-Y-C-E-N-T and S-N-O-O-B. We internationally known and locally respected. Boy, I know you done heard about me. I'm a P-I-M-P.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but a bitch can't get a blunt up out of me. I drive a Cadillac, wear a perm cause I'm a G.
Shout money.
And I'm a motherfucker
XL.
C.I.P. I don't know what you heard about me, but a bitch can't get a crumb up out of me. I drive a Cadillac, wear a perm, and I'm a G. And I'm a motherfucking P.I.M.P. Yo, that shit is crazy, who kid? Rewind that, play that back.
F-I-F-T-Y-C-E-N-T and S-N-O-O-B.
Can't forget. Dogtown Records.
Known and locally respected. I know you done heard about me. F-I-F-T-Y-C-E-N-T and S-N-O-O-B. We internationally known and locally respected. Boy, I know you done heard about me.
Get
I'm a
back.
P.I.M.P.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but a bitch can't get a blunt up out of me. I drive a Cadillac, wear a perm cause I'm a G. And I'm a motherfucking C.R.I.P. I don't know what you've heard about